in terms of, what they believe in and what they don't believe in. So, a lot of these things are just about supernatural things. And like I say, every society has got that. If you look at first world country or so-called first world countries, there's newspapers and even TV programs, about ghosts and things like UFOs and so on and so forth. So the same as with South Africa, like you say, everybody in black communities sort of know what a tokoloshi is, even though it's not a a physical creature or being. It's just a mystical thing that people believe in, that when things are happening in this form or the other, then it could be the work of some extra sort of spiritual powers that might be cast upon you in one way or the other. I mean, I can give so many examples. There are people who don't believe in God and Jesus, and there are those who can kill for that. So it's all about catering for different markets and tastes.
How do you decide which story you go with? Because again, one can come across all sorts of stories that relate to the mystical everywhere in South African life. So how do you decide that, okay, this story looks like it's credible and we're going to publish this one?
You apply the principles of journalism in every story. You obviously look at things like accuracy, things like are there more than one voice, what is the other person saying. I mean, we've in certain stories where we believe that there could be something to be explained by scientists or university lecturers for one or the other reason, we do that. We bring their voice in, to make sure that we balance obviously science and the other spiritual beliefs. So every other story, like in any other conventional newsroom, has to go through those checks and balances and make sure that we are as accurate as possible, even though some sections of society or readers might not believe in some of these things. But if somebody comes to you and tell you that, well, this is what happened to me last night when I was sleeping, where I saw my fridge moving from one corner of the kitchen to the other, you gotta give them an audience.
It's 10:30. Time for the latest news headlines. We'll continue after this.
A very good morning. With the news headlines this hour, Mudupi Makhalemele. Former Cabinet Minister Zizi Kodwa has welcomed the withdrawal of corruption charges against him. A Limpopo police officer and her two co-accused in the 9 murders for insurance payouts have abandoned their bail application in the Polokwane Magistrates Court. And the president of Botswana, Mokgweetsi Masisi, has conceded defeat after Wednesday's elections in that country. A full news update at the top of the hour.
Taking a look at your markets this morning, the rand currently trading at 17 rand 64 to the dollar, 22 rand 76 to the pound, and 19 rand 18 to the euro. Markets in Asia were mainly lower at the closing bell. The JSE green across the board in mid-morning trade. Markets in Europe are red across the board. Gold is trading at $2,750. Platinum at $993 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $74.31 a barrel.
It's time for great baby savings at Dis-Chem and Dis-Chem Baby City. Save 20 Rand on baby things pants, now only 159 Rand 99 per pack. Get 2+1 cheapest free on any Johnson's baby products, such as baby wipes value packs, and buy Pampers Double Protection Pants Jumbo Pack, sizes 3 to 7, for only 234 Rand 99. Don't miss out on these great baby savings, valid until 10 November, only at Dis-Chem and Dis-Chem Baby City.
The Reds have an assignment to demonstrate that their fans will never walk alone. But with 3 points in the bag against Brighton and Hove Albion.
And the ball delivered, and here's Jones, and scores! Curtis Jones gets there.
However, However, the Seagulls want to emphasize that they are in the top half to stay.
Genie Hody's got it across! Goodness me! Danny Welbeck has put Albion into the lead.
This is the Premier League.
Catch the thrilling clash between Liverpool FC and Brighton and Hove Albion FC on Saturday 2 November at 4:30 p.m. live on SABC3. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Our role must be to seek to build a better world.
SAFM invites you to our annual public lecture, delivered by former Minister Dr. Naledi Pandor. The theme for the lecture is 30 Years of South African Freedom, reimagining South Africa's democracy, achievements, challenges, and the road ahead in protecting our democratic gains. The lecture will take place on the 21st of November 2024 at the Birchwood Hotel and Conference Center. Secure your seat by emailing us at info@safm.co.za.
Today, I'm part of seeking to build a better South Africa.
SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Let's have the conversation. WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107.
Good morning, Cathy. It's Fred the Tracker. Cathy, you know the Daily Sun. Wow, the Daily Sun. I loved the Daily Sun. You know, if a story was not in the Daily Sun, then the story is fake. These days, if the story is not on SAFM, then that story you need to, dig deep. So the Daily Sun was always the one to confirm, correct? All these shenanigans that have been going on in the location, you could find it on the Daily Sun. We're gonna miss it.
Hi, Cathy. Good morning. How are you, Mafuta? Hey, Cathy. Honestly, it's an end of an era for newspapers. But can you ask your guest there, comparing the print publications and electronic publications, which ones are costly, Cathy? Again, Cathy, isn't there a concern what medical or practitioners are saying about this? Always looking on lies, on electronic gadgets, reading and doing work on electronic gadgets. Isn't that a concern, Cathy? Is it viable in the long run to always read and use electronic gadgets? But Cathy, everything has to come to an end. Like what we are noticing in Botswana, the Botswana Democratic Party is on its way out, Cathy.
#SAFM Talking Point.
Well, thanks for those WhatsApp voice notes. I'll get the Daily Sun editor to answer in a moment. I just want to read this message from Nkosinathi Lutuli in Soweto, who says, I got to be familiar with newspapers through the Furwood Road Library in Durban, and that was in the early 2000s. Since then, I've been an avid reader of newspapers. I love the humorous way the Daily Sun uses language on its WhatsApp channel, the strategic mixing of languages in their stories as well. So, Amos, do you want to respond then to the questions by a listener?
Yes, I think obviously the other question, I'm not a medical specialist, but yes, there are risks associated with screen time. If you excessively spend time on your screen, it's not healthy for you. But there are many other ways in which you can reduce those risks, like having a cover or not bending your neck in a certain way when you consume content on your phone and so on and so forth. So as for the other question, I'm not sure if it was a question per se or just the experience that the reader had with us. Yes, of course, that's what happens when you have a certain reputation as a news outlet. People, would want to read you first and be able to be sure that indeed something has happened. And I think that kind of a practice is not gonna suddenly end because the printing of newspapers is ending, but the good quality journalism that we have been doing over the years will only be distributed differently going into the future, which is going to be online. So I think that's one thing that we should never ever forget. It's not like newspapers are dying in the sense that they won't be published in the future. We are embracing technology, we are embracing the internet, which is something that has changed the world significantly over the past 2 decades or so. I mean, many years ago, I'm also an avid fan of SAFM, especially for the news and sports bulletins. I used to listen to SAFM conventionally, but these days I don't know when was the last time I tuned on the actual radio or stereo. I always listen to it via the internet. Now people in Russia, Australia, and many other parts of the world can listen to SAFM as well, whereas in the past only people in South Africa and some parts of SADC could listen to SAFM. So I think we need to embrace the technology and we need to see opportunities in what the internet is bringing to us, instead of probably only looking at the risks. So here we are, we have a better tool to expand our platform to make sure that we talk to even a greater variety of people around the world and share some of our stories with them.
Amos, I want to talk about how then publications have had to diversify as we continue this conversation. Of course, you're more than welcome to weigh in, and I'd really love to hear from you and how you're going to be affected then by the printing of newspapers coming to an end on 086 000 2032. That's the number to dial, 086 000 2032. On the WhatsApp voice note line, 0614 104 107. That's 0614 104 107. You can send your text messages and WhatsApp voice notes on that number. Of course, we will also schedule to be joined by Mondlima Kanya, Editor-in-Chief for the City Press. He has been unable to join us for this conversation. I'm saying this also because I see some of you are sending questions specifically for Mondli, but Amos is in studio. He's the editor of the Daily Sun. So when you talk about how newsrooms and publications more broadly have had to try and adjust their work to fit in with where they see the technology moving into, the direction of the technology moving into. Of course, making decisions like that isn't always easy. It's not a smooth transition where you wake up today, you're not printing papers, but you're fully able to have a digital and online presence. Those two sometimes require different things. They require different skills. What does it mean practically for how you as editors then do your jobs, your staffing capacity? How do you rethink what this newsroom of the future needs to look like?
Obviously, it's a long story, but I'll try to cut it short. So what happened is that when I joined Daily Sun in 2019, one of the responsibilities I was given was to get Daily Sun ready for the days when print stops, which is now here. It was very difficult to sell that internally because you have a bunch of people who have been doing this thing since 2002 in this particular way. They've never done it differently, and you are coming and you are telling them that we need to change how we do things because of 1, 2, 3. So you obviously need to start by selling this internally, so that once the people who are producing this news content are sold, then you are able to start doing things differently and then distribute the content differently. So we had to reskill people, retrain people, so that we change the mindset, we change how we are doing things, and so Daily Sun was launched in 2002. And 5 years later, in 2007, we were selling 500,000 copies a day. Fast forward to today, we started our WhatsApp channel that one of the listeners referred to earlier. We started our WhatsApp channel in May this year. And this Tuesday, actually, 2 days ago, we were celebrating our 500,000th subscriber. Sure. So you can see the scale of things, what technology can do and what it means. So and one of the things I used to tell my colleagues as I was trying to explain to them, this vision into the future, I always said to them, we used to sell 500,000 copies a day in 2007. If into the future we can have 500,000 page views a day, then we would have turned the tables around, and that means we wouldn't have lost any of our readers, because we would have taken them with us into the new journey. And we reached that in September of this year, which is like last month, where on one particular day we had more than 500,000 page views. So that's how we see things now. The quality of the content will always be in demand, but what is changing into the future is how we then distribute that content, how we publish. I made an example about how we can now listen to SAFM online. I see there are cameras in the studio now, which is something that was not there 20 years ago, So some people can actually not only listen to SAFM, but they can do so by also watching what's happening in studio on social media platforms, different social media platforms.
What would you say the journey to convince audiences to come online with you has been like, and where have you experienced maybe some of the greatest difficulties? Because I know the one thing that is often spoken about digital publications is the cost associated with it. So often we have to subscribe, and the subscription fee maybe I think the Media 24 one now is 50 rand, I think 75 rand now, and many people think no, but 75 rand is just too much to be paying per month. So how do you deal with that? Because you don't necessarily have advertising in the conventional sense that you would if you're publishing an actual paper, but yet you still need these operations to be sustainable.
Of course, that's one of the biggest challenges for publishers, because obviously a lot of these things are new to South Africa. It's a shock to the system, and also remember, we are a developing country, so we have a lot of other challenges, like the penetration of internet, pricing, accessibility, and so on and so forth. For me specifically, as a Daily Sun editor, I have even bigger challenges, because if you look at the market that I'm serving, it's a low income market, probably LSM 1 to 4. So some of these people in blue overalls don't even have smartphones. They can't access us maybe while they are commuting to work in a train or in a bus in the morning. So those are some of the challenges we came across. But what we also embrace with this new era is that suddenly you've got a lot of young people who are reading us, who believe in us, and who are interacting with us and asking questions and making comments and so on and so forth, which means then our future is secured, because if we have people who are reading us, more than 60% of people who are reading us are between the ages of 20 and 35. And with the internet, you are able to quantify everything, like in real time. Every second when I look at my analytics, I can tell how many people are reading me in the city center of Tshwane. I can tell how many people are reading this story from Russia, and so on and so forth. So it's exciting. I think it's exciting, and that's why I'm saying I choose to look at the positive side of things. The good things that the technology and the internet is doing to journalism, because we are now able to tell stories better. No more word count or
word puzzles.
Yeah, so we can also use videos and audio and other graphics to tell the stories better and illustrate the stories better, which is exciting, I think, to the readers as well, because then they are able to comprehend things better.
Okay, I'm going to bring in the reflections of some of our listeners on the WhatsApp line before I go to the phone line. Let's begin with these.
Good morning, Cathy. Cathy, in connection with the Daily Sun. I'm laughing, man. I used to read whatever happened there. Somebody say, oh, Tokolosh and all that stuff. I used to say it's not true. Until it happened to me last month. I woke up by a noise at 1 o'clock in the... 1 o'clock, it was early in the morning. I heard a noise and I went to the lounge to inspect. When I came there, I found somebody, a girl. She's naked. Katie, she didn't break in my house. When I went to investigate the noise, she was there, naked. She says she's there she was sent to kill me. She just lost her stuff. And I called the neighbors. I woke up the neighbors to see for herself. And when we asked her, how did she manage to come in? Because the doors are locked and all that stuff. They've got burglars. You know what, Katie? She pointed to the door and the door got open. She was naked. It was the talk of the town there in my village. Thank you from King Williamstown. It's Amos.
Hi guys, thank you so much for the great show. This is Anonymous in Pretoria. Oh, what a great pity. You know, growing up, my mother would tell us that her mother would sit her down, give her a newspaper and read different articles for her, and that's the way she managed to learn how to read and also how to understand English, you know, and speak fluently. And she did the same with us when we were growing up. She would sit us down, give us a newspaper from KZN Pietermaritzburg show. She would come in with a Natal Witness, and then would read, you know. And I legit want to do the same to my kids. It's such a pity that technology is really taking over, but I think newspapers were just such a great way that helped me to learn how to read. Thank you so much.
End of an era indeed for us who consumes print media on daily basis, including on Sunday when we are relaxed at home. Please ask them, will the electronic media come into place? How do we access papers on electronic media? Kanju.
South African Airways is expanding in the DRC. We now offer direct flights from Johannesburg to Lubumbashi, the heart of the DRC's mining hub. Our convenient arrival time allows seamless connections to key regions like Ndola and the Copper Belt, opening up new growth opportunities. Traders can benefit from our generous baggage allowance, while SAA's superior aircraft belly capacity ensures your cargo reaches most parts of Congo on the same day. Book now at flysaa.com or contact your travel agent. South African Airways, connecting Africa to the world, one flight at a time.
Play Powerball and Powerball Plus for your chance to win 107 million rand in jackpots this Friday. That's right. Play Powerball for an estimated 32 million rand jackpot and Powerball Plus for the staggering 75 million rand guaranteed jackpot today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. eTuba is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
You're listening to The Talking Point, indeed the end of an era as we shine the spotlight on newspaper publications. An announcement then by some of the biggest newspaper publications in the country that they're going to be printing their last copies later on this year, particularly coming up in December, and that's under the Media 24 stable. Amos Mananyezo is the editor of the Daily Sun. He's in studio with me, and we've been talking then about the lifespan of the Daily Sun, but just more generally around the state of print media. Scully, before I go to Scully in Durban, Amos, let me give you a chance to respond to our listener who was asking then, how are they going to be able to access the publications?
The publications can be accessed via your computer or tablet or even your cell phone that has got access to the internet. And dailysun.co.za, and then all your favorite stories are always published there, and we update and refresh the website every hour.
Scully, you're calling us from Durban. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Cathy.
Yes.
Thank you for taking my call. About the papers, Cathy, when I heard this news, it started this morning. I don't know how to tell you, like I was going to faint and so on, man. Now doing away with newspapers, I don't know, Cathy. I have no words, English words. Look at everybody is not on internet, and everybody is not on computers. Look at the ordinary people that's going to work and so on are so used of reading the paper, at least the headlines. Others teach others, like you heard just now, and about the lady you heard. Hello?
Sorry, Scully, please continue. I thought we were off air. You're making such a good point about the headlines.
And we like life starts off with reading into the world, not by technology. And technology power is going to fail when you just need the technology. But the newspaper, you can read it out. It's printed, it's there. And then we have the last usage of the newspaper. It doesn't go to waste. It's the best thing to wipe windows, if you know, Cathy. And it's so many other uses. When the reading is finished in the print, you go, like, it becomes like a carrier, whatever.
Absolutely, Scully. I made the same point earlier.
Cathy, my end point is, Cathy, please, I leave it to you. Try to speak to the owners of this print media that just don't do away without it. Like maybe cut the volume down, a bit slowly, because you can't do without reading. And newspaper print was one of the best forms of, reading going around. It's education. It's education, Cathy.
Okay.
Like all of us are not equipped with computers and so on to go into, get the news.
All right, Scully, thanks for that contribution. It does have so many uses. Like Scully, I used the example of the window washing earlier, but also glasses too. Level, my producer says fish and chips, you
and scope,
fat cakes, maudwana, all of it part of our lives. But what becomes of the headlines? Are you still going to at least publish headlines on street polls, or is it? Are we not going to see headlines anyway?
No, we'll still have posters, but unfortunately not in the physical format on the street polls. We'll only have them also electronically. On all our social media platforms, just to.
So what's going to push us to go onto
tell the public?
No, what's going to push us to go onto the online platform? Because what makes me go and buy a newspaper is when I see the headline that is giving me a bit of a teaser to push me to go and buy. So now, what's going to be my incentive?
Well, we'll send you the same posters on WhatsApp and other social media platforms like Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah, I'm starting to agree with Scully. I don't like this either. Brian, you're in Cape Town. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Cathy, and to your guests. Sorry, I just came in at the tail end of your discussion, but it was quite a shock to me now, actually. Given the fact that just last week we saw a huge headline of the city press of ANC corruption, and a whole article on the front page. And further to that, you have the vast majority of people in this country are living in poverty and living in informal settlements and sub-economic areas, etc., and do not have access to the internet. Why can't these newspapers just scale down on the amount of publications that they have? Because it's going to be a huge loss to those people, as your previous caller mentioned. My first impression when I heard about the City Press and these other newspapers closing down or going via using the internet route was that maybe they're doing an Iqbal survey on us. Because the other newspapers are all still being sold in the printed in fashion. So I don't know why they should shut it down, and they can migrate to the internet, but still sell a limited amount of newspapers.
Okay, Brian, I hear you loud and clear. Thanks for your contribution. Chantal in Cape Town says the subscription model won't work. I just read Die Burger and sometimes a Huisgenoot and very seldom Rapport, but now media companies want to charge a subscription of 130 elangeni per month. I'd rather read the printed copy than the online version. That's one view there. Somebody else says, good day, Cathy. Please ask Amos, with the end of newspaper print, how are those who rely on newspapers for BB and other forms of cigarette smoking going to move forward? That's from Mutau in Polokwane.
Wow, yeah.
So you see, Amos, you should have told Media 24 to come and consult our listeners.
I know.
Before making these decisions.
I can tell things are really emotional. The good news about Daily Sun is that we are going to be, as we are and have been, a free publication online, so you don't have to pay any subscription fees. We will try and find money somewhere to produce the best content for you. And give it to you for free, yes.
Okay, and then the other question, what must the BB smokers know? The board of Media 24 must explain to our listeners.
I think our former health minister, Dr. Nkosazana Zuma Dlamini, or Dlamini Zuma, is probably better suited to answer that one. She won't be excited or happy to hear that because she doesn't like people who zol and pass it on,
Amos, I can imagine that the 20th of December, it must be a special edition. It must be a collector's item.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no one should miss that. It's going to be very exciting. We've already started working on special features for that particular edition. Because it's going to close one door and open a new one into the digital future.
Amos, let me thank you so much for your time. Amos Mananyetso, who is the editor of the Daily Sun. Please go shout at Mondli Makanya for us. You must go to his office down the corridor from you. Tell him we missed him in our conversation this morning. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Amos. It's 11 o'clock.
Thank you.
Time for the latest news.
The top stories at 11, charges against Zizi Kodwa withdrawn, and the insurance fraud murder accused abandon bail. A very good morning. Former Cabinet Minister Zizi Kodwa has welcomed the withdrawal of charges against him. The NPA withdrew the corruption charges against Kodwa and his co-accused, the ex-business executive Jahan McKay. The pair made representations to have their charges dropped at the Commercial Crimes Court in Palm Ridge, east of Joburg. Kodwa was accused of soliciting bribes worth 1.7 million rand in exchange for government kickbacks from McKay. He addressed the media to express his gratitude for the support he received.
I want to thank the millions of South Africans for the outpouring of love, of support and prayers. Little did I realize that so many people, millions of South Africans, appreciated the work we did over the past 10 months as a Minister of Sport. I also do want to thank the leadership of the ANC, many post and current, who continue to express their support. I got a visit from the leadership of the Youth League, but one of the calls that gave me real strength was a call from the former president, Kgalema Motlanthe.
A social worker who counsels learners at the school of the two learners involved in the tragic crash involving a PSL player in Ekurhuleni this week died after hearing news of the crash. This has been confirmed by Ekurhuleni Metro Police. The well-known footballer who plays for Sekhukhune United is appearing in the Tembisa Magistrates Court on Gauteng's Strand. It's believed that the car he was travelling in collided head-on with another vehicle in Tembisa. A 9-year-old child died. The child's mother and a 13-year-old learner sustained critical injuries and are being treated in hospital. Metro Police spokesperson Thabiso Makgatho says they found bottles of alcohol and drugs inside the suspect's car. She says they suspect that the social worker might have died from shock.
She also passed on, upon hearing the devastating news, that the two learners, one is injured and the one had passed away. So yeah, it has affected a whole lot of people. It was a really tragic and horrific scene. Yeah, it could be from the shock.
A Limpopo police officer and her two co-accused in the 9 murders for insurance payouts have abandoned their bail application in the Polokwane Magistrates Court. Sergeant Rachel Kutumela, her daughter and sister, are charged with insurance murders, fraud, and money laundering amounting to 10 million rand. Their legal representative, Moses Mantata, told the court that the trio will no longer be proceeding with their bail application, which started on Wednesday.
Submit before your good side that we are abandoning bail application with the permission of the court. The honorable court acknowledge our application as the court for all the accused, in respect of all accused as
Police and city law enforcement agencies have moved in to start evicting a group of homeless people who've been living outside the Castle of Good Hope in Cape Town's city centre. MACO member for Safety and Security, J.P. Smith, says that the city is assisting the Sheriff of the Court and SAPS in the execution of an eviction order on behalf of Public Works and Infrastructure. In September, the Western Cape High Court granted an eviction order to the department, giving the homeless community until October 17th to leave the area.
The city's role includes facilitating shelter access at the city safe space and NGO-run night shelters to individuals who request it, and documenting all unclaimed personal items for storage at the city's Ndabeni facility where they can be collected by, and cleaning the site of accumulated waste.
And the president of Botswana, Mokgweetsi Masisi, has conceded defeat after Wednesday's general elections in that country. The Botswana Democratic Party has suffered a historic defeat after governing Botswana for nearly 6 decades. The Umbrella for Democratic Change Party looks set to form a new government. Masisi, addressing the nation this morning, has urged Botswana to rally behind the new administration.
The principle we work by is that the public service is apolitical. They serve the government of the day. So I expect all focus to shift and stand ready to take instruction and subscribe to the dictates of the new administration. We are Botswana, so we will continue. I did also say that I was prepared to lose an election over it. If this has anything to do with it, I stand very proud that I stood my ground on it.
The top story at 11 o'clock, former Cabinet Minister Zizi Kodwa has welcomed the withdrawal of corruption charges against him. For SAFM News, Kimudupi Makhalemele.
Sanibonani babukele emakhaya igama lami ngingusisi. Make sure that you catch us on the 2nd of November celebrating 30 years of summer music at 8:30 p.m. only on SABC1.
Celebrate 30 years of music with the Summer Awards, Saturday 2 November. Yellow carpet starts at 7:30 p.m. and the main awards at 8 p.m. on SABC1.
Play Powerball and Powerball Plus for your chance to win 107 million rand in jackpots this Friday. That's right. Play Powerball for an estimated 32 million rand jackpot and Powerball Plus for the staggering 75 million rand guaranteed jackpot today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Our role must be to seek to build a better world.
SAFM invites you to our annual public lecture, delivered by former Minister Dr. Naledi Pandor. The theme for the lecture is 30 Years of South African Freedom, reimagining South Africa's democracy, achievements, challenges, and the road ahead. in protecting our democratic gains. The lecture will take place on the 21st of November 2024 at the Birchwood Hotel and Conference Center. Secure your seat by emailing us at info@safm.co.za.
Today, I'm part of seeking to build a better South Africa.
SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The Friday Wind Down. Kick off your weekend the right way.
Sabela, 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 yeah. Sabela, yeah. Sabela, sabela, yeah. Sabela, yeah. Sabela, 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 yeah. Sabela, sabela, yeah. Sabela, yeah. Soko dilele dilele kufika ukoko wako utankhulumaisa sithatha sahlali kanjalo ndeva kukhala ingoma ndithekwa ndivuka ekuseni yayimana ikhala lengoma ithi sabela 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 iyakubiza ingoma sabela 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 bese yabamulindile sabela hey sabela sabela fana mayisa sabela sabela hey sabela sabela ebusuku dilele dilele dinikwa into ngakudwa thatha nsika hamba uyopilisa isisu sithethe sahlali kanjalo ndeva kukhala ingoma emandithekwa ndivuka ekuseni yayimana ikhala lengoma ithi sabela 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 hey sabela 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 iyamubiza ingoma sabela sabela iyamubiza ingoma sabela sabela iyamubiza ingoma
That is Sabela by our Friday wind down guest, and really he is no stranger to this platform right here on the Talking Point. He's no stranger to South African audiences. The biggest difference, of course, is that instead of being accompanied by two other members of the group of the soil, he's now all by himself. So firstly, must we be stressed about the fact that we are seeing you by yourself? yes, you started this journey of exploring your independent career a couple of years ago, but just so that, those that are wondering what all of this means are able to concentrate during the interview. Nzika, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Cathy. Thanks for having me.
Why are you not here with your group members?
So, good morning.
What is the meaning of all of this?
I'm glad we started with that question. Bang tired.
Okay.
I can't get anywhere in anymore. So I thought, let me just arrange my own interviews now and just be alone with my favorite people in studio. But yeah, I'm still part of the soil. That will never change. They are my people. They are my family. We are truly honored just to continue to wake up every day, be purposeful about the music, and continue to heal. But I'm happy that the studio kushayo moya man. Akekho P, akekho Theo. It's just myself, Cathy, and it's about to be magical.
So, Nzika, we joke about it now,
Yes.
but this is something that you've been working towards for a couple of years, and I want you to take me through the journey as an artist, because you sort of start off on your own. Well, not quite, because you've
Yes.
got your brother
Yes.
in the mix and singing together as a family.
Yeah.
It does make the dynamic slightly different. But the point is that you start off as an individual, you come into this group, and then when you start thinking about what else can I do beyond this group that I love so much, that is literally family.
Yes.
How did you begin to play around with that?
With that idea. Cathy, it started for me when I was so young. Like at the age of 6, I was already dreaming of songs. Just last week, I was thinking to a moment where I feel like that was the moment that showed me that I would actually become a musician, whether I'm in a group or a soloist, but I am meant to heal through music. So we are playing soccer at Svelile Primary School in Meadowlands. During the match, I stand still, I black out. But in me blacking out, I hear music playing. All I could hear to come back was Tsiki Paul and Kaba. And I'm so young, like I'm super young. And I then thought to myself, when I thought about it last week, I was like, this was me trancing into this sacred world that I was entrusted with. Because even to date, I still get transported to a world where I sit with my forefathers and they just sing songs that I then happen to remember when I wake up, when I come back to this physical plane. But to then realize that it started when I was 6, and also when I was still young, I remember waking up sweating from a dream, seeing myself like an older version of myself performing to 50,000 plus people in the stadium. I didn't have my t-shirt on. I don't know why, but I had a 6-pack then, and there are still no lies today as well. I was singing on my own on stage. Then you fast forward to me when I'm a teenager, I'm in high school. I then bump into Samkelo, something Soweto, bump into Buhle, and we start this amazing thing with my brother as well at Ditelo Secondary School, and it became what this phenomenon is known as the soil today. But I realized that I don't just do music, I am music. I've always been vibrating in a musical frequency that has always found me, and I feel like I am blessed to know that even outside of the soul, I still have my own voice, and I get to then go even deeper to tell people about my story, to tell people about my people's stories. And yeah, we are here today just unpacking it all.
When you have this realization, I imagine that it's a conversation that you have to manage well.
Yes.
With everybody around you, so that it's not interpreted to be something that
Yes.
it's not.
Yes.
So what is the conversation then that you have with the group that you're with, but I imagine also with your family and with your friends to say, okay, everybody, I have an announcement to make, and this is now what the future is going to look like.
Okay, so the songs from the debut album, the same album that you just played, Isabella, off of, titled I Write What I Dream. I started dreaming about that album in 2016. I got a bit scared. And to think it only ultimately got released in 2019, that was just me trying to manage the whole process, the whole transition. And I remember having one of the Own Diva, for instance. This is me trying to deflect. I'm hearing these songs, I see myself alone in these images, but I'm like, no, let me take Own Diva and give it to the group. It was around the time we were trying to make an album. And then an email comes back from the group members and management, Native Rhythms, and they say, this is a beautiful song, but we feel like it's your song. It tells a story of just you as an individual. And I'm like, hey, this thing. And then I get told by Dr. Sipostole that we are not releasing in 2017 and 2018. And I'm like, okay, that's my opportunity. I sit them down. I tell them that this is the thing that I want to do in 2019. Can I get the blessing? And everyone was like, we saw it coming. We knew it was coming. And for the fact that it's written in the stars and everything is making a way for you to do this, go ahead. And I did it. Like, I've never felt so alive. Like, I always knew that I could sing, but I was introduced to layers I didn't even know I had in me. I started exploring a range that I never even knew I had, but I knew it wasn't me singing when I was singing those songs.
Have you come to understand sort of this transition or this trance that you speak about that helps you make your music?
Yes.
What is that trance? Where do you go?
Yes.
Do you know where you go?
Yes.
Do you know what's happening there?
So with Sabela, that's the first song that I dreamt of, and it happens to be the last song in the album. I get transported to this world. I feel like we are it is a spiritual realm. It's a world not familiar to me, well, foreign to me, but familiar in a way. My grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, Tamkul Maiza, is sitting across me like we are sitting here. And he's not saying anything. And I could hear burning logs outside of this whatever shack or house that we are in. And I started paying attention to him and why he's not saying anything, but he just glanced at me on some pay even more attention. I know you're scared, I know this is a bit, we took you by surprise, but you need to get used to it. And when I started paying attention and being in the space and being one with the space and being one with those that called me to their space momentarily, so I then started hearing Isabella being chanted everywhere. I could not see who was singing it, but I could hear it. The melody, the key, the tempo of the song, everything about that song. When I woke up, I was shaking. I woke up my wife. I told her that it has happened again, but now in a more intense way. I have an outside studio in my home, in an outside flatlet that we have there. I rushed quickly in the morning. I recorded, and then I let it stay there until a time it came, and I gave that same recording to the band, and they just breathed more life into it.
Would you say that that's how you record all your music, or how it all comes about, or is that just one way of the process?
It's the most preferred way. I
like that. It's the most preferred way.
It's the most preferred way, because
Okay.
I also get in moments where, for instance, when I get out of here, out of the studio, I'll be, of course, super happy because I was with people that I love.
Yeah.
And that on its own will inspire my creativity, and on my way to the next space, I will start hearing melodies and I'll record on my phone. But the most preferred way is just to sleep and see my forefathers come through.
We are in conversation with our Friday Wind Down guest, Ntsika, and we're talking about then the work that he's doing towards his own album now. Not the first time that he's releasing music on his own, but as you can tell, a lot more effort and energy and confidence being put into it this time around. And it's a conversation we'll have with him as we continue, because he's not new to the industry. So why was he a bit uncertain of how he would do in a solo career? We'll get him to answer that question when we continue on the Friday Wind Down.
It's Valley Weekend on a high note with final analysis on Sunday night. Tune in to Final Analysis every Sunday night and stand a chance to win a hamper worth 10,000 Rand, courtesy of Diadora and SABC Sport. Final Analysis, the premium wrap-up show, giving you match highlights, final scores, post-game reactions, expert analysis, and sport news weekend roundup of the local and international arena. Catch Final Analysis every Sunday at 8 p.m. on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and 10 p.m. on SABC 3. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We've Got It All. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Hey yo, this is DJ Zero. We're out here at Back to the City. If you are not here, you're missing out. But since you missed out, make sure you check it out on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure.
For all the hip-hop heads, check out the Back to the City special, Saturday 9 November at 8 p.m. only on SABC 1.
Celebrating our music heritage right here on the Friday Wind Down.
Lisbonisa injabulo esingayasi lisanokukhanya esingakwazi lisilethe lolo nyuthando esingalwazi thina olonje nasikaze lisbonisa injabulo esingayasi
You're listening to Ukukhanya by Nzika, who is our Friday wind down guest. So, Nzika, I was asking you before we got into the song, the soil has been around for some time, which means that you've been around for some time. You're not new to the industry. So why were you hesitant to go solo?
Yeah, it's the love for the soil, pretty much. I thought the nuances of me going solo might read as I'm leaving the group, until I had a dream and I got visitation from umakhulu wam, my maternal umakhumalo Mtungu Mbulazi Ntombi endala ezalwa uMamonzala Msilikazi Mbulazi omnyama. Oh, such a beautiful soul. She came to me in a dream and said, who said we are saying you must leave the soil? No one has ever said you are leaving the group. So find confidence in us telling you that everything is intact. We just want you to go on this mission. People need these songs. People need to heal from these songs. And I knew they were not just healing songs, but they were bangers. Like, they were really, really... If you listen to I Write What I Dream, it's a a beautiful work of art.
Yeah.
Like, I truly, truly am honored that I got to even channel it. And yeah, the confidence in the music was always there, but the hesitancy was, me being hesitant was just coming from knowing what the other people outside they might say with regards to me being part of the soil or not, you know.
How different has the experience been as a solo artist? Because now, of course, you are having to do all of the work that you need to do, whether it's promotional work, whether it's performances, etc. You have to do all of that.
Yes.
Firstly, maybe let's begin with how you think your experience just in the industry overall is helping feed into the solo career.
So the solo career is, for me, I didn't find it as a huge logistical task or something that was taking too much or away from my time, because I am a musical director in theaters, so I'm happy working in ensembles and directing those ensembles. So I was in the world of my own, like in the peakest, like the most magical world, because Cathy, I have a lot of ideas. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but I have a lot of ideas.
I can tell.
So in a group, right, you can only donate so much because you are cognizant that you have other amazing individuals within that group. So your idea sometimes might not go the length that you wish it would. But in my solo career, it goes all the way. Like, I can't play any instrument, so I would sing the bass lines to my bass player. The drums, I would, because I can also beatbox, so I would beatbox that pattern. So everyone just playing around me was literally buzzing from my frequency. So they were an extension of my creativity, and each time we still perform, even today, because I was headlining other festivals just now all across the country, and it's such an honor to also just be continuously booked as a soloist, even in the midst of touring with the soil. You know, like, it's amazing to juggle the two, and for me, I love how organic it is, and also there's no tension in the air. You feel the support from Uthio, you feel the support from Master P, and also whatever they also do outside of the soil, you feel just the camaraderie that we all have for each other. And I think that's actually what makes it even more happy and lighter, and you know, like, it allows for me to continue.
One of the questions that I think we must also ask is, how do you manage to do it all? Because, you know, there's only one of you, and yet you've got so many different things on the go. We're going to continue with the conversation in a moment. It's edging towards 10:30. Our Friday, did I say 10:30? Yes, I did. It's actually edging towards 11:30. You see, I want us to have just one more hour, because, you know, the Friday wind down is my favorite part of the week. So we'll take the latest headlines and then continue the conversation with our Friday wind down guest, Nzika Nganga, who is singer, songwriter, theatre music director, founder of Nomadic Tribe Entertainment, also member of The Soil. But today we're focusing on his solo album that he's now, at least his latest offering, that he's now gifting us with after the latest news headlines.
Well, the headlines at 11:30. I am Dino Mudaung. Good morning. The NPA will no longer pursue the corruption case against former Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Zizi Kodwa and his co-accused ex-EOH executive Jahan McKay. In other news, the prosecution in the case of a Limpopo police officer accused of killing 9 people for insurance claims amounting to 10 million rand has applied that they should be moved from Polokwane Correctional Facility to Matashe Prison in Thohoyandou. And Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says he's relieved that the unlawful occupation by homeless people of the site outside the Castle of Good Hope has come to an end. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
16 teams of Mzansi Africa's Elite League are back to the battlefield. Namandla Masha. They all believe Ukutukuzoba right, Kube bright, as they navigate the path to the final. This is the second edition of the Carlin Knockout Cup. Fagukesi. Catch the unmatched passion and drama of Ipola Lasemzansi, the Carlin Knockout Cup, live on SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Our role must be to seek to build a better world.
SAFM invites you to our annual public lecture, delivered by former Minister Dr. Naledi Pandor. The theme for the lecture is 30 Years of South African Freedom, reimagining South Africa's democracy, achievements, challenges, and the road ahead in protecting our democratic gains. The lecture will take place on the 21st of November 2024 at the Birchwood Hotel and Conference Center. Secure your seat by emailing us at info@safm.co.za.
Today, I'm part of seeking to build a better South Africa.
SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Celebrating our music heritage right here on the Friday Wind Down.
And that's Amapupo by Nzika, who is our Friday wind down guest. So, Nzika, when you're building then this career, what are your expectations around how far you want to go with it? Because I said before into break, you're just one person, so you have to dedicate time.
Yes.
Number one, to the soil. Number two, to the work that you're doing in the theatre.
Yes.
Being a musical director. And then there's your own career.
Yes.
How do you see yourself splitting for all three of these to grow in their own way?
Of course. So I wait for these worlds to call my name. So I don't even worry about the future, what this album will go out and do, what this project will do. I know what it has been, why it has been given to me. I trust that process. I trust the covenant I have with God. I trust the understanding that I have with my forefathers. And as soon as they say, this song is going to serve this purpose, find time to record it and send it to the world. Once I send it to the world, I am on to the next thing. So when spaces then call me by my name and then ask for my creativity, or I get booked and they ask me to come perform in Cape Town, I know that in Cape Town, that hall or whatever auditorium will be filled by people that were chosen at that juncture to be in front of me and for me to be just ushering the healing. So we walk into spaces that are waiting for us. So that's my constant prayer, to always be aligned, to go to spaces that I don't have to negotiate with my spirit has to negotiate with a lot of people that don't want me to be there. I go where I know that I'm called to be in.
Theatre can be quite different to sort of the mainstream music. So speak to me about that aspect of the work that you do as a musical director.
There, I have the luxury to go even more expressive. Because with each and every script that I get given and asked to write music for that script, the moment I start reading, I get transported to that world. I love theater because it's like reading a book. You get to travel. So I meet those characters. I don't just meet them, I'm part of them. I'm part of their world. And I then get to tap into spaces that allow me to then have echoes, like speak through their mouthpieces as well. Those that were unheard, I can be their mouthpiece through the music. And it all ties in nicely. And when I imagine a scene that is somewhat sad and I write a song that will accentuate that feeling, and I see people literally crying in the theater space, I'm like, yeah, I nailed it. I saw this coming, and I'm glad that it's translating. Why? Because even when we go through all these emotions, there's a reason why we do that.
Do you have a particular production that is sort of your favorite to date, or where you think, okay,
oh my goodness,
I produced some of my best work here?
Yes, so I think Bapa led to my album. I produced Bapa along with Billy Langa, an amazing writer and performer. And then there was also Night of Trance, which I did with Osen Zieng. It's really incredible. It even was shown in cinemas countrywide. So that's just two of many. So I think those two musically, they also just pushed me a bit, you know.
Is this what an artist in 2024 and possibly in 2034 has to do in order to build their careers? That you have to be diverse, that you have to have different ways in which you're expressing your creativity, in which you're building on your skills for your own longevity and of course for your survival at the end of the day.
So I feel like whatever aligns with you. If you feel like theater is calling your name, and because it can't be for all of us for the sake of trying to get more revenue streams than we already have, because you'll just be doing a good thing for all the wrong reasons. But with me, I just pour my heart out in all these spaces that I go into, and I know that I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm doing it for generations that will come along in my lineage or other outside kids that are just looking in. Because there is a kid down the line that will say, I find it weird, but maybe in 2065, I find it weird. I dream songs, but I'm scared to say it in this current. I don't know how 2065 will be looking like. But if there's a reference, if they go on Google and see Mkhulu Ntsika in 2024 was with Cathy on the Wine Dance saying that he also dreams of songs, there's a string then, because I don't even feel like I'm the first and only one in my lineage, in my family. I feel like there are people even that came before me in my clan that used to have this gift. So it's just applying it in its glory, in its fullest, so that even that kid, that girl child, that boy child down the line can look back and say, yo, he was owning it. He was loving this gift, because there's nothing not to love. That's when you become truly alive.
Have you felt that in the past you've had to, maybe you've been unable to fully be honest about how you make music?
Yes, in spaces that were taking away my light, you know. There were instances in different spaces that I am part of, where you feel like you're not only hitting a snag, but you can actually feel that there are forces that don't want you to be fully yourself. You know, I would then just try to exit those environments. Others I was successful in exiting them. Others, of course, once you sign a contract, a theater contract, and you feel that now things have changed, I'm not beaming. I'm not excited to wake up anymore. You then just do it for just keeping your word and being a steadfast business person and finishing the contract. But when you go home, you're like, I didn't like the last part of that production, how things were handled. But you survive all those things. They then make you realize the type of creator you are, and then you become so finicky. You become so finicky. The process of working, if Cathy wants you to write a song for her, you then say, Cathy, I would like to firstly come to your show and watch you perform. That's what I do now. I don't just take emails and say, I'll write to you. So I need to know you. I need to meet the Cathy, the spiritual Cathy as well, beyond just the flesh. I need to be one with your world. I need to, and then when it organically comes to me, I will know that it has been passed in a world that is beyond this one.
So you were working on a project.
Yes.
It's not recently as in yesterday, but certainly in the last couple of years, around recording lullabies.
Yes.
African lullabies.
Lullabies, yes.
Now, it's crazy because we know that there's so many different lullabies that, we will sing. You think, tula, tula,
yes.
tula. And it's one of the more popular ones.
Yes.
But there's so many others.
Yes.
And yet, you can never find them anywhere. You don't find recordings of these lullabies. So tell us about this project.
So you are right on the money, Cathy, when you say it's not documented. My thing with Dreams, Love and Light, which is my dedication to my kids, my two beautiful kids, my goodness. Alwande Thando Lwenkosi, my son who is 11 years old, and my daughter who is 10, Olona Thando Lwenkosi. They are Irish twins. I know my wife and I were
wow,
yes,
that's incredible.
Yes, there was a no TV era in that time. Kumasando. Oh my goodness! So that lullaby project, the one that you just played two songs from, it's a dedication to my kids, but also an ode to my wife, because I wouldn't have had this title of being a dad if she wasn't part of the story, So I'm honoring her as well. Ugukanya speaks about knowing just how sacred these kids are. When you're gifted with kids, they are not your kids. You are just a custodian and a guardian over them. You have to then teach them things as far as you can possibly teach them. Try make sure that their moral fiber is intact, align them with all the good values so that they can live in their purpose, And I'm truly, truly honored that these songs affirm them. They tell them that they are beautiful, they are intelligent, they were born into a world that they need to inspire, and everything that they are and what they are is enough. And they are worthy of everything that comes their way. So this is a note to all kids.
So how do you make sure that the project goes forward? Because when we look at the market around children right now, there is always demand for children's music. But I find that if you're looking for something that is maybe not in English, very difficult to find as well. We don't have our African version of Cocomelon or
of course.
whatever else it is that your kids might be watching. So how do you take it forward, Nzika? Because I think you're in a good position to do that.
Yeah, I mean, with Platoon, they are the ones that also called me for the first two compilations that we did a few years back. And then they reached out to me and said, Nzika, you have to have your own now. So it's an EP that has 6 songs. I'm here because I'm marketing these songs. So there is a process that we have embarked on. There's a will also to send it abroad, and a communication has already started. We will be submitting these songs for award nominations, even the Grammys next year as well. So I'm manifesting a lot. And once you get then recognition for such things, you can easily then get these songs placed in movies, Disney movies. You can then and then your song can be the next Tula Mama Tula Sana, you know. And I like the fact that parents are now saying, Tsika, you're part of our morning routine, you know. My daughter, we wake up to your music, we prepare breakfast, and when we drive to school, it's the only thing she wants to listen to. And I'm like, that's beautiful. That's a tradition that you are adding into different African households, and it's beautiful.
Ntsika is our Friday wind down guest. As you can hear, a man of many talents, but we'll do less of the talking now and more of the music.
The Friday wind down. Kick off your weekend the right way.
Ingathi ndilikesa, ingathi ndiyaphambana baby, wena ungeke duze kwami baby, ingathi ndishiywa zingqondo, ingathi awundiva, andizukwazi ingathi awundiva, andizukwazi nyani baby, azukwazi phila ngaphandle kwakho baby, nyani baby, azukwazi phila ngaphandle kwakho baby, nyani baby, azukwazi phila ngaphandle kwakho baby, nyani baby, azukwazi phila ngaphandle kwakho baby. Sumanu chunge taleni, Sumanu chunge ndicela ndichunge mehlweni, lungamadanga ke uthande ndinayo, cela undibeke njengetywina phezu kwenhliziyo yakho, unditywine ngengalo yakho, ingathi awundiva, andinokwazi ingathi awundiva, mna ndinokwazi, sithandwa sami, nyani baby, azukwazi phila ngaphandle kwakho baby, nyani baby, azukwazi phila ngaphandle kwakho baby, nyani baby, azukwazi phila ngaphandle kwakho baby, nyani baby.
Hey yo, this is DJ Zero. We're out here at Back to the City. If you're not here, you're missing out. But since you missed out, make sure you check it out on SABC One Mzansi for sure.
For all the hip hop heads, check out the Back to the City special, Saturday 9 November at 8 p.m. only on SABC One.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
All right, Nzika, the hour seems to have just flown by. So we now have to get into the last phase of our conversation. What's your focus now?
So my focus now is, my goodness, I'm excited for 2025. Just when you thought I had enough things going on.
Okay, where do you get your energy from?
From my 5 a.m. routine.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Your team Club 5 a.m.
Yeah, Club 5 a.m.
You're on the streets running.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, bo. So,
no, it's a lot of energy.
Cathy, it's enough energy. You can never have a lot. Like it's just enough. I think it's just the right point, and I feel you also mask it well. You have the same energy that I do.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I can see people that have
Although
it.
I've fallen off the Club 5 a.m. for a couple of years now.
But it's a club
I
that
need
doesn't
to get
judge.
back on it.
So come back. Whenever you have the zeal to come back, we are waiting. You know. But yes, next year I am excited because with The Soil, we are taking the Soil Reimagined tour abroad.
Wow.
But in the same time, people have been saying, I Write What I Dream was phenomenal, but when is the next offering? So I'm happy to announce that next year, I'll also make time to release a few singles from the upcoming album, which already has a title, but I don't want to jinx it because Coco might come back and say, hey, not that title, maybe this one, you know. But I have to say, it's music that I thought I Write What I Dream was immaculate and nothing would stand next to it. But I am blown away by these songs that I've just gotten now, and the whole flow from track one to the last song. It's a beautiful story. It's a continuation from I Write What I Dream, but even more intense. And I love the fact that I'll be also getting on tour next year.
So basically, you've got a big year ahead of you next year.
Yes.
What would you sort of want to look back on at the end of the year and feel that you have accomplished?
I want to look back and say, oh yes, that festival that I also wanted to curate, I did it across 3 cities.
Wow.
That solo album that I said I wanted to release is the second solo album. I've delivered. The Soil is my family. I just want to see them hit utopia, you know. Also, this coming tomorrow, we are also up for 2 awards at the Summers.
Yes, tomorrow's a big night for music.
Best adult contemporary, which I feel speaks to how we've changed the music and how we've moved it to like a global sphere, and also best engineered. So I just pray that we at least get 2.
Nzika, we wish you all of the very best. We're going to end off the show with Nibahle. Tell us about it.
Oh my goodness. Now this is a soundtrack for everyone's lives. This is the affirmation that we all need. We are so beautiful, all of us. I know intentionally I was singing it to my kids and all kids in the world, but the feedback I've been receiving is that people are saying it affirms them as well. Because even as brown people, we forget that, I mean, this is royalty. You know, the blood that flows in your veins is royalty. You know, you were born in gold. Like, you need to be garbed in it in everything that you do. You must be worthy of everything. You must know that you are enough. So nibahle in whatever you do, in your wind down programs and getting guests, nibahle in everything that you do. You do more than just radio, Cathy. You are an amazing human being. You're an amazing spirit. Umuhle nawe. Everyone who's listening here, nibahle. nonke nibahle.
Nzika, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Isn't he just such a contagious light and bubble of energy? So we're going to wrap up the show then with Nibahle. But before we go to that one, we'll bring in some of your voices too.
Good morning, Cathy and the listeners. Zika, you are blessed, my son. You are blessed. Unesiphiwo ntwana, unesiphiwo. Qhubekeka mntanami, qhubekeka uyaphilisa umculo wakho. It's Anonymous in Cape Town. Danko.
Hi, Cathy. Nkunzi. Hey, unjani mntaka baba? You know what, Cathy? I know Ntsika from VUT. We used to study together. Hey, the interesting thing, you know, Ntsika is very bright. Very bright. We used to study chemical engineering together. I would attend every class, Cathy, every class. But Ntsika, maybe sometimes he would miss class, I don't know due to what, but he would come back and help me on the class that he was not there. But the guy is very brilliant. Bulisu Master P Mfanagiti, this is Manova Mazibugo. Another thing, okay, I love his job, Mfanagiti, and Siga, keep up the good job, man. And he was very kind-hearted, Kathy. Sharp, Manova Mazibugo, I mean, for Sloras, sure.
Alwanda uthando lwenkosi mfanam mama kawakho thiya kahle nibahle olona thando lwenkosi into yakazi yam mama kawakho thiya kahle nibahle alwanda uthando lwenkosi mfanam mama kawakho thiya kahle nibahle olona thando lwenkosi into yakazi yam mama kawakho thiya
Conversations that you connect with and react to. SAFM.
It's 12 o'clock on Friday, the 1st of November 2024. Very warm welcome to Updated Noon here on SAFM. Leading the conversation, I'm Sakina Kamwendo. Coming up in the next hour.
So I'm really grateful that I'm now talking to you as a free man. I'm already resuming my responsibility. My first responsibility now is to make sure that I align myself with the activities of the ANC. I've already answered. Someone was asking, what now do you do? I'm in the job market, I'm available.
Former Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Zizi Kodwa says he is ready to resume his ANC duties following the withdrawal of corruption charges against him. And
from the ordinary public in Makana. And then they were able to indicate to us where the problems were, and they gave us the evidence, and that is the reason why we were able to then do the proclamation, because it was based on the evidence that we had.
The Hawks are conducting a raid in the Makana municipality in Makanda in the Eastern Cape. Coming up in sport.
Going to look ahead to a busy weekend of sport, including Banyana and the Carling knockout, and more on that Formula One story.
That's John Gericke, the homework that we asked him to do for us yesterday. Can't wait to hear what he has dug up there. All right, so that's in the second half of the show. But right now, we want to hear from you as well. 41391, that's our SMS line number. You can also write to us on X at SABC News_radio, or send us a WhatsApp voice note on 0826923909. Well, these and more stories coming up on this Friday edition of Update at Noon. First, though, let's bring you up to speed with the latest news with Dineo Mohlahlana.
Thanks, Sakina. Top stories. Machabeng Mayor loses his legal battle and NPA drops corruption case against Zizi Kodwa. A very good afternoon. Machabeng Mayor Thanduxolo Kaliba has been found guilty on all 3 charges of common assault and 2 counts of crime and injury by the Odendaal Serious Magistrates Court. He allegedly assaulted his bodyguards when they tried to remove him from an angry crowd during an imbizo held at Kutlwanong High School in February. The case has been postponed to the 12th of December for sentencing. Addressing his supporters outside the court, Kaliba has indicated that he intends to appeal the matter. In more court news, the NPA will no longer pursue the corruption case against the former Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Zizi Kodwa and his co-accused, ex-EOH executive Jahan McKay. This after the charges against the two were withdrawn following representations the pair made to the Director of Public Prosecutions. However, the NPA had previously stated that it was confident that there were prospects of success in the case. State Prosecutor Neville Mokgakgabe relayed the decision before the court.
Of course, I welcome it with mixed feelings. As you know what happened in the past 3 months. I have no doubt that the DPP, to arrive at this decision, he applied his mind on facts before him, not on the basis of what sometimes we hear in a trial of public court of opinion. I want to thank the millions of South Africans for the outpouring of love, of support and prayers. Little did I realize that so many people, millions of South Africans, appreciated the work we did over the past 10 months as a Minister of Sport. I also do want to thank the leadership of the ANC, many post and current, who continue to express their support. I got a visit from the leadership of the Youth League, but one of the calls that gave me real strength was a call from the former president, Kgalema Motlanthe.
That was Zizi Kodwa welcoming the NPA decision. In Limpopo, the prosecution in the case of a police officer accused of killing 9 people for insurance claims amounting to 10 million rand has applied that they should be moved from Polokwane Correctional Facility to Matashe Prison in Thohoyandou. Rachel Gutumela and her 2 co-accused, her daughters Flora and Anna Shokane, face charges of insurance fraud and murders. The case has been postponed to February next year. Prosecutor Advocate Kgaugelo Lukulwane has said that the Polokwane facility no longer accommodates female awaiting trial prisoners.
Since the accused have abandoned bail, we request that they be remanded in custody. And I was informed by the police that Polokwane Prison should no longer accept awaiting female prisoners, and the prison therefore that they should be remanded to its Matashe Prison.
In other news, Gauteng Health MEC Nomantu Nkomo Ralehoko is leading a spaza shop blitz in Ekurhuleni on Gauteng's East Rand. Accompanied by environmental inspectors from the city of Ekurhuleni, the MEC is moving from shop to shop to check if owners are complying with food safety standards. This follows a rise in incidents of foodborne illnesses from products bought from local spaza shops. And there's also been concerns about some of the shops selling expired food. Frederick Peterse is an environmental health practitioner.
This top shop, if you look at this top shop, is not in compliance with the health requirements because regarding the storage of the food and regarding the occupation, it is staying at the back of the premises. No occupation of the premises is allowed. You can't stay on the premises. Regarding the expiry dates and stuff like that, he's complying with that. We explained to him regarding the decanting of food, it's actually not allowed because of secondary contamination that can take place.
Lastly, Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says he's relieved that the unlawful occupation by homeless people of the site outside the Castle of Good Hope has come to an end. The occupation started during the national COVID-19 lockdown about 4 years ago. Hill-Lewis says it is